Brown, I have to agree with you. I would think that the Celtics are going to go small. They've got a lot of picks to choose from. Some of the players perhaps that they thought were not going to be available are there. A couple of names that might have gone earlier, but with some of the surprise picks, and there's even more guards available out there. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
Let's go to David Stern and see what Boston does. With the 19th pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Dee Brown from Jacksonville University. Dee Brown, a small guard just over 6 feet tall from Jacksonville. Great end-to-end speed, a durable basketball player. And you might say, knowing the Celtics as we do, that he's a Celtic kind of ball player and certainly the kind of speed and youth that the Celtics need to get to open up that running game.
Well, you know, last year they were so poor in forcing turnovers. They got into a game where if they ever got behind, it was so difficult for them to catch up. Now with the addition of Brian Shaw and Dee Brown, they have speed to go with Reggie Lewis. They have upgraded their athletic ability on this team. I think it's a very good choice.
Now, this guy can also do some rebounding. I mean, he led his team as a junior with 7.6 rebounds. A very aggressive type of a player, a kind of guy that really would fit in well with the Boston type of player. Mind you a little bit in some regards, even though he's a lot smaller with that rebounding, I believe Dennis Johnson.
As we talk about Boston a little bit, let's discuss Dave Gavitt joining Jan Volk and Red Auerbach, who's still got his hands in the affairs there in Boston, always will, I think, and also the new coach in Chris Ford. What about the changes in Boston will be brought along by that change in management?
Well, I think that Dave Gavitt is a very qualified man. What he's done with the Big East and with basketball in general for college has been phenomenal. Still working with USA basketball as well. If given the opportunity to do what he feels is best, I think that he'll have a great chance to make the Celtics back into, a great basketball team. But again, he's going to be in a fishbowl. It's going to be a lot different than being in the Big East where he could do a lot of things and people really didn't look at it under a microscope. But if anybody can get the job done, I think Dave would be the guy. And I like Chris as a coach because he knows the players, having been a player before, and I think he'll do a great job.
I think so, too. And the transition will be smooth. He's been there a long, long time. And, again, Boston is such a proud organization. And, Dave Gavitt is not only a respected basketball man, he was also an excellent coach. We remember with his days with Ernie DiGregorio and Marvin Barnes and his days at Providence. So this guy's a good basketball man.
Let's go to Craig Sager now.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. The pride of Jacksonville. You played high school there, played college ball. Now you go to Boston. How's it feel to be a Celtic?
It feels great. It's a lot of legend, a lot of history back in Boston, so I feel very honored to be picked by the Celtics.
You're such a versatile player. I know you played guard in high school. You go to college, you end up playing forward. You lead your team in rebounding. Only 6'1", but you added 6 inches to your vertical leap. What have you been doing to improve yourself in all these areas?
Just working out hard, keeping a good attitude, making sure my head's straight, and just knowing that I could play NBA ball. And, if you keep your head straight and things like that, I think things work out well for you.
What about playing with Larry Bird?
It's going to be great. He's one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player. Happy to wear this green, and I can't wait to play on the parquet.
What will you do for that team?
Add a little bit more speed to the team. They've been known as a slow-down team, but with me in the backcourt now, with Reggie Lewis, who's a great player, we can add a little more speed to the front court with Bird and Mikhail. So, and just a little leadership. If I be playing point guard, just try to get the team going, and try to let them forget about the playoffs.
Yeah, it sounds like you know this team well. You've done your scouting.
Yes, I've done my scouting with the Celtics, and I'm just very happy to be there.
Boston Celtics wanted Dee Brown. Dee Brown wanted the Boston Celtics, and the match was made right here. We'll be back as we continue our coverage of the 1990 draft from the Javits Center in New York. The Minnesota Timberwolves are up next.
I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by.
Big boat. Win a trip on Dennis Miller's Cool Cruise. Just pick up a 6-pack, 12-pack, or case of cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and look for the winning label.
Don't you just love the classics?
You call it, I'll do it.
Isaiah with the pill.
Check it out.
AJD Cap Company introduces official NBA signature caps.
Okay, Dominique, 2 hands for him.
No problem.
Quality, one-size-fits-all wool cap with your favorite NBA team's colors and logo.
Bert's three-pointer.
No. way.
And your favorite NBA player's name, number, and signature. Take it from me, Dick Stockton. Feel like a superstar. Most of the time. Call 1-800-424-1400.
Recently, Four Wheeled Off-Road magazine took this year's 4x4 of the Year winner and all the past winners and conducted a head-to-head showdown to determine the best of the best. So who won? Who do you think? There are a lot of 4x4s out there, but there's only one Jeep.
Get $1,000 cash back on Jeep Cherokee during the National Jeep Sale.
Satisfaction. No one satisfies you in more ways and in more countries around the world. ITT Sheraton Hotels, inns, resorts, and all suites. Sheraton Satisfaction. Come feel it for yourself.
Along with Rick Barry and Doug Collins, this is Bob Neal with you from the Jacob Javits Convention Center on the west side of New York and the 1990 NBA Draft. Let's update you on the most recent picks. Tonight, Derek Coleman was the very first player selected. The last four, Kerry Mills went to Milwaukee. That was for the 16th selection. Kerry Mills out of Michigan. Gerard Mustafa to New York. Sacramento got Dwayne Coswell. Boston, Dee Brown. And up next will be the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is the Rick Mahorn selection. This is a choice that came in a trade with Philadelphia, so let's find out who Minnesota is going to select at number 20.
With the 20th pick in the 1990 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Gerald Glass from the University of Mississippi.
Gerald Glass, a swing player, averaged 24 points. He said himself that he was disappointed in his senior year. He gained some weight then. He since lost it. And the question is, Gerald Glass, how will he fit in with Minnesota?
Well, I think Rick talked about it earlier. Minnesota didn't know whether they wanted to go little and big or big and little. We can see right now they went big with Felton Spencer, now going small. This guy will give them a quality backup for both Tony Campbell and Tyrone Corbin. He'll be able to play both positions. So they've improved their depth now at both the 2 and 3 positions.
He was a member of the 1989 National Strength and Conditioning All-American team, which is for excellence in the weight room. So a very strong player, a tough guy. And if anybody knows Bill Musselman likes tough guys. And so if he goes out and plays with that type of intensity, he's going to make it tough on some of those starters to keep their position, and he'll please Bill a great deal and probably get some playing time.
So Gerald Glass, a tough physical player, as you mentioned, a player who disappointed himself with his senior year, but now he goes to Minnesota. Minnesota getting Felton Spencer when they picked number 6, and so for that Rick Mahorn deal, part of the Rick Mahorn deal, when sent Rick Mahorn to Philadelphia, they get the number 20 selection, and Gerald Glass of Ole Miss goes there. And up next, we have the Phoenix Suns. They have somewhat of an aging front court in some areas. Might look at that area for Phoenix. What do you think about Phoenix and their pick number 21?
Well, I think you talk about they'd like to get a strong power forward if possible. They've got Kurt Rambis out there who's getting a little old in the tooth. Eddie Johnson starting to get some age on him at the shooting forward position. They have a great organization. In the last couple years, they have turned that thing completely around. Cotton Fitzsimmons, Jerry Colangelo, and those people. An interesting guy might be in Ala Abdelnaby right now at that position, or maybe a Jason Williams.
Yeah, I think those are probably the two quality big guys who are left right now who could very well fit in there. Also maybe a Derek Strong from Xavier and Antonio Davis. Those are the 4 people that most people have charted in as the top people in that strong forward position, should they elect to go that way. But, you know, of course, they might surprise all of us again and come up with somebody and maybe go for another guard, thinking they need some help back there, although they got a pretty good rotation there in the backcourt working for them right now.
And we keep waiting for Houston to make the deal we think they might Blake. When Houston selected, going way back, Alec Kessler, we thought they were going to perhaps have a deal going with somebody to trade Alec Kessler for the guard that we think they need. Well, let's call Ray Patterson and tell him.
It might happen later, though. You know, it might happen after the salary cap situation.
Exactly right.
Everybody's an amateur general manager anyway. We can be too. There's no reason we can't.
What's fun about the NBA draft? There's 3,000 people out here who are general managing right now.
So the Phoenix Suns, who gave a courageous performance in the NBA playoffs this year, will be making a selection next. And Cotton Fitzsimmons has been down this road many times before. So I'm sure as he's looked over all of these players, he'll make the best selection.
Well, let's take another go out on a limb and take another big gamble here, okay? I mean, Kevin Johnson got hurt, and of course they got the little guy Grant there. You know, maybe a Bimbo Coles might be a choice, or Tate George, somebody like that, and to get another guy in the backcourt. I mean, you don't know. I mean, Hornacek sure does a great job back there filling in, playing 1 and 2, but they might be able to use another small, quick guy like a Coles. Who knows?
Vernell Bimbo Coles played at Virginia Tech. He did not play on a really good team this year, but he's a player I saw play several times. I like his activity. That's a good player.
Well, he's strong. He's a strong guard. He can penetrate. Questionable how well he shoots the basketball, but
on that team you don't have to worry about it.
All you have to do on Phoenix is spell Kevin Johnson a little bit, because you know he's going to put 38 minutes on the board every single night for you when he's healthy.
Might mention once again that Derek Coleman was the first player selected in the NBA draft this year. He went to New Jersey. Derek Coleman out of Syracuse. It was Gary Payton going second to Seattle. Then Chris Jackson went to Denver. That was a trade in spots that Denver had made with Miami. Orlando took Dennis Scott. Kendall Gill went to Charlotte. Minnesota, in their first pick, took Felton Spencer. Lionel Simmons went to Sacramento. Bo Kimball went to the Los Angeles Clippers. Willie Burton, in case you've joined us late, went to Miami at 9. Atlanta got Ramil Robinson. 3 University of Michigan players have been selected already. And as you go down the draft update here, you see Alec Kessler, who went to the Rockets from the University of Georgia, and Lloyd Vaught. Dave Jamerson went to the Heat. Terry Mills to the Bucks. That's the third of the Michigan players. Gerard Mustaf, the early entry out of the University of Maryland, went to the New York Knicks. Coswell, the center from Temple, went to the Kings. Dee Brown, the guard, went to the Celtics. And Gerald Glass, the swingman guard from Ole Miss, was the last player selected.
Yeah, I think if anything that you can judge by what's happened so far in this draft, for any of you young aspiring NBA players out there, attitude certainly plays a big role nowadays. These teams and coaches and general managers and owners are tired of having ball players come in with attitude problems and cause a lot of difficulties for them. Look what is happening now, I think, to Dwayne Chintzes. This is a perfect example of how you got to behave yourself and show them that you really have a desire to go out and play basketball. And this might be a good object lesson for a lot of the youngsters out there.
Well, you know,
they're worried.
Well, you know, Rick, when you have a salary cap restriction and you make a mistake, it could cost you for a long time.
All right, I understand David Stern's about ready to make the next selection. As you look at Dwayne Chintzes has said he attended some of these camps so people could get to know him personally. He felt that a lot of the information about him was overblown in the press. Let's see where he'll go in the draft. He could go now. He might not. Let's find out. With the 21st pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Jason Williams from St. John's University. You heard the round of applause. Jason Williams has played his basketball at St. John's. Jason's a power forward. The question on Jason Williams was, how is his condition? He had an injured foot. They had to place a pin in his foot surgically. This is a man who might have been a lottery pick without that injury to his foot and getting the pin in the foot.
Well, I think it's a good selection right there because he's a young, aggressive player. He can score. He can rebound. They need that kind of player to help back up a Kurt Rambis. I think it's a very good selection. You know, when you start picking down here in the 20th, all right, Bob, you know, you have a chance to roll dice a little bit. It's not such a big gamble. This kid is a very good basketball player. He's had injury problems. I had a broken foot. I had a broken fifth metatarsal that was fixed, and I played 9 years in the league with no problem with that. So if he's got the opportunity to get healthy, you're going to see that he's going to be a good player for Phoenix.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. You can see he can run the court. He's got some moves inside. He's got some strength. He can certainly continue to work on his game, and it's just a matter of whether or not he is going to hold up. And with the type of surgery that they have nowadays and rehabilitation programs, I would think that the odds are pretty good.
As a part of the deals that New Jersey's been making, they have a trade of a draft choice from Chicago involved in the Dennis Hobson trade. They'll pick next right after this.